So it's looking like Errol Spence is in between a rock and a hard spot, and the walls appear to be closing in on him, and it's going to be time for Errol to pick his poison. A lot of people were saying, you know, believe that Errol Spence was running from Crawford, and they said eventually, you know, it, it was going to come back and bite him. Now, Errol Spence, he has two straps. He has the WBC and the IBF. The WBA is held by Yordenis Ugas, and WBO is held by Terrence Crawford. And as everybody wanted to see the Terrence Crawford fight, everybody wants to see it. Crawford, he reached out to the IBF and told them, can they make him mandatory? But, that's not really how it works. They're not, the IBF will never make Terrence Crawford a mandatory when Bud is the WBO champion. It's not going to work like that. But at least he put it out there like, he want the smoke. So I think that's the reason why Terrence Crawford did that. So who is boxing Errol Spence in? Well, we got Terrence Bud Crawford, the WBO champion. And that's the fight everybody want to see. You remember, Errol Spence said he wants to come right back in and jump into a fight with a champion. That's what he said. He said a champion, no tune-ups. He said he wants to fight a champion. He can't fight Yordenis Ugas right now. Ugas is tied up in a tournament. That's not going to happen. So the only other champion in the division is Terrence Crawford. Now, with that being said, we also have, some pretty dangerous opponents that's also closing in on Errol Spence. We got WBC mandatory is Virgil Ortiz. I believe he's number 1. And then the IBF mandatory is Abdulkakarov. Sean Porter, he would have been number 2, but he's retired. So Jaron Boots Ennis was bumped up to number 2. So we got Abdulkakarov and Boots Ennis is right up there. Then we got Virgil Ortiz and David Avanesian as 1 and 2 positions at the WBC ranking. So, which direction will Errol Spence go? Well, if he fights Virgil Ortiz, which is a man though, definitely he's the number 1 spot at the WBC for Errol's WBC strap. If he beats Virgil Ortiz, that's good. If he loses his belt. Then you got Abdulkakarov and Jaron Ennis number 1 and 2. If Errol picks one of them, the Abdulkakarov fight is not really lucrative like that. The Jaron Ennis fight ain't really that big either, but Jaron Ennis' name is getting pretty well known now. Very risky fight for Errol, but this is boxing. We want to see the best fight the best. If he loses, then he loses his straps, and he'll never be undisputed. That'll be it for Errol Spence in this division, man. So which way do you think Errol's gonna go? Bud is putting the pressure on him. Boots Ennis is coming for him. Virgil Ortiz is coming for him. But now that I look at these rankings, if it's not gonna be Bud, I have to bank on it being Bud because Errol said he wants to fight a champ. Then that should be Bud. You got to go by what Errol say, right? He said he wants to fight a champion, then that would be Bud. If Errol is just all smoke and mirrors and he really don't want to fight Bud, then he going to have to see Virgil Ortiz or Abdulkakarov. I think he beats Abdulkakarov, and that would mean Virgil Ortiz would be the more dangerous fight, I think. And will Errol go that way, or will he dust off Abdulkakarov thinking he's a lighter touch? One thing is for certain, though. Errol's going to have to pick his poison soon. So in a couple of weeks, man, we should know what's up in the coming weeks. We should know who Errol Spence is going to fight because he said he's coming back in February or March. So let's see who Errol Spence's next opponent is. Judging by what he said, that he don't want a champ, he wants a champion. And that would be Terrence Bud Crawford will be his next fight in February or March. Just saying. But if he chooses not to go that direction, then the next fight more than likely will be Virgil Ortiz Jr. I don't see him fighting Boots. It'll probably be Virgil Ortiz. Because out of Boots and Virgil, Virgil Ortiz will be the easier fight for Errol Spence. I think Virgil Ortiz is tailor-made for Errol. I think he beats Virgil Ortiz. I think Boots Ennis is the one that gives problems to Errol. But I think Errol smokes Virgil, though. Absolutely. But let me know what y'all think. Who is Errol Spence going to pick? Which poison is he going to choose? Because one thing's for certain, the walls are definitely closing in on Errol Spence Jr. It's Rebel Life. Catch y'all later on the next one.